all get seated so we can start with our program. Thank you very much. Let's all get settled so we can proceed with our program. My name is Sonti Mayinga. I am the Chief Director for Libraries and Archives from the Mpumalanga Province, Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation. I will be directing the program tonight. Dumelang Bahayesu. Bari remote province ya Bokoni Bophirima. So language welcome. Good evening to our Deputy Minister, distinguished guests, authors, scholars, friends of UNISA, friends of archives, press, officials from the Department of National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, officials from the Northwest Department of Arts, Culture, Sport and Recreation, and also all the officials from the other provinces. It cannot be a National Archives Awareness Week without provinces represented. And I believe and know that they are all here. You are all welcome. Let me also greet our partner, extend a special greetings to our partner, the UNISA Press, our host for tonight. We are continuing with the National Archives Awareness Week. It started on Friday. Today we had a session at the Provincial Archives, and then it's followed by this book launch tonight. The book launch is held as part of our National Archives Awareness Week. And tonight, we celebrate not only the publication of important works, but also the preservation of memory, identity, scholarship that enriches our nation. We're having our host here, who has partnered with the department to hold this event as part of our activities towards the National Archives Awareness Week. Ladies and gentlemen, the bathrooms are towards my right, on your left. So you can use any door from the back. There's a door inside here. It will take you to the bathrooms. We do have other sets of bathrooms at the reception. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also remind you that we do have photographers and videographers tonight. When you see them coming towards you, give them a smile and a pose. And these pictures and videos, they will be used by the department, by UNISA Press, as part of a memory that this event did indeed take place. So let's just give them a pause when they come. Do you all have your bank cards? Bank cards? Can we see them? Bank cards and cash? Because tonight we are requesting all of you to use them in this important event. Lipompo, you have a directive from the MEC that you need to spend your money here. So today, this engagement is one of those engagements that requires us to swipe those cards. On our program, you will see there is a QR code. Please scan to procure your books. If not, you will, there's also a machine. I understand there's a card machine that you can use to swipe. So please clean those cards. Wipe them clean so that you can procure the books. So this year's Archives Week reminds us that archives are not just shelves of forgotten documents, but living as repositories of our collective stories. Through books, research, and dialogue, we ensure that knowledge is not only preserved, but shared widely. And this event tonight, it embodies that mission. Ladies and gentlemen, without a waste of time, I will go straight into our program with the first item there, which is opening and welcoming remarks by the Honorable Peace Minister, Sports, Arts and Culture. Can we get a round of applause as she's coming to the podium? Let us continue until she's standing here.
Thank you very much, Mesonti Mayinga. Dumela. Alizugile. Ke ja monate ka gore ke bua puo ko etso ka jeko. Go leng ke bua malema ke sa itse. Ke ntse ke peteka ke sa itse bo seZulu what. Ano ke bua leleme la ko gae. No ke itumela and ke itumela le gore le tlile ka logetse ha go tla le utlwa pitso ya Sports, Arts and Culture and go tloga maabane ke and ro tswella beke otlhe re ntse re le mmogo re diragatsa bontle bo bokanakana ba bokwadi ba rona ba mo South Africa. E re ke leboge Mesonti Mayinga, Program Director, ke leboge le go amogela Miss Peterse o e leng gore ke ena editor and manager ya UNISA Press. Normally when I acknowledge people, I just want them to wave, you know, because sometimes we never get to put the name to the face. So ke o le kwa gale ka mmona le mmone le modumedise ke amogele the following people ke bona ba tlo go dirang di book presentations Professor Lindukuhle Ubisi. Prof, just wave. Very young, ne? I'm challenged. And Dr. Salfina Ubisi. I'm told there's no relationship, ne? So there's no relation at all. Mr. Zakwe Palatse. Professor Gilbert Mutsatebe. And ke acknowledge gape le mme wa rona me Tlhapi Welling MEC ya Sports, Arts and Culture. Ke leboge le gore o bile a re tshwarella maobane a sa ke sa khona go fitla a re bulela tiro but because of other engagements ha khone go fitla mo tirelong e ka gompieno. Program Director, thank you very much. Members of the literary community, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Sincere appreciation goes to UNISA Press. Everyone who's involved in UNISA Press, we thank you very much. If you can just also stand up and wave so that the people can know you. These are our strategic partners. Without them, the book launch week is not possible. Thank you very much. It is truly a pleasure to be here with you as we celebrate not just the book launch, but the sharing of knowledge, stories, and lived experiences that shape who we are. As we observe the annual Archives Week 2026 under the theme, Archives for Justice, we are reminded that books and archives are far more than collections of words and documents. They are living records of our journeys, of our struggles, our triumphs, and our aspirations. Every story written and preserved brings us closer to understanding ourselves and each other. Through literature, we capture our past, we make sense of our present, and begin to imagine a better future. This is why the words of Marcus Garvey still resonate so deeply, saying that a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. In this regard, we are reminded of the powerful reflection by Sol Plaatje in Native Life in South Africa, awaking on Friday morning, June 20th, 1913. The South African native found himself not actually a slave, but a para in the land of his birth. These words reminds us of the painful realities captured in our archives and the importance of preserving such truths so that they may guide us towards justice and understanding. In South Africa, where our history is both rich and complex, storytelling carries a special responsibility. It calls on us to reflect honestly, to listen deeply, and to engage with courage. As Nelson Mandela once reflected on archives, saying, "They are not simply records, but they are spaces filled with memories, questions, and sometimes difficult truths that challenge us to grow." I must also share this because for the first time I had an experience of visiting the Archives Center in Pretoria. And I got to appreciate, how important that is, because records since the attainment of democracy, the truth and reconciliation, all those documents are kept in a very safe place. So I echo the same sentiments shared by Nelson Mandela. The publication we are launching today forms part of this important national conversation. It strengthens our literary landscape and reinforces the importance of reading, the importance of writing and critical thought in building a more inclusive society. Program Director, as the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, our work is guided by policies and legislation that ensures our knowledge is preserved and accessible to all. The Legal Deposit Act, which requires publishers and producers of information to submit copies of their publications to designated libraries and institutions so that the country's knowledge and heritage can be preserved, plays a critical role in safeguarding our published works, ensuring they are collected and preserved as part of our national memory. In terms of the purpose of the Legal Deposit Act of 1997, only published or produced documents emanating from or adapted from South Africa are subject to legal deposit. This includes monographs, magazines, journals, newspapers, music sheets, maps, CDs and DVDs, government publications in print and electronic format, posters, pamphlets, diaries of significant value, films, video, audio tapes, audio cassettes, gramophone records, compact discs, broadcast material, they all fall within one scope. So if you have time, go visit the center. You'll get an understanding of what I'm talking about. They are able to also bring a voice recording that was done many, many, many years ago, but they can make it sound current. So they have very specialized machines there. So if you have time, it will be important that you also visit the National Archive Center. Alongside this, the new National Book Policy seeks to build a vibrant and inclusive book sector, one that supports local authors and promotes all our social languages and ensures that books reach every corner of our country, especially communities that have historically been left out. The 2 books that we are launching here have been published through one of the department's esteemed programs, rolled out by the Directorate of Books and Publishing, directly focused on the development of the literary sector. The program is called the DSEC Publishing Hub, administered by the Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association of South Africa on behalf of the department. The DSEC Publishing Hub is an industry stimulus project to support authors and revitalize the books and publishing industry. Also encourage the creation of new literature that tells our stories and preserves our heritage. It is an impactful flagship program that makes a difference in the sector. The department provides support the literary sector to foster a dynamic of a wide range of significant literature, including that written in previously marginalized official languages. Some of the books donated at the Start Primary School yesterday are from the DSEC Publishing Hub. We believe these books will make the necessary difference to the learners. And I hope that as you distribute the emphasize the fact that we don't want our books to follow the library protocols. Change hands. If they follow library protocols, they will never be read. So we want them to follow a different route, not the library protocol, because it can also take time due to many challenges that are there, especially in managing our school libraries. We also acknowledge the challenges that are there in our school libraries, and we pledge support to improve our school libraries as well. We also wish to extend our sincere appreciation to UNISA Press for its invaluable contribution to the advancement of scholarship literature and acknowledge production in South Africa. Through its continued commitment to publishing important academic and literary works, UNISA Press plays a vital role in presenting our intellectual heritage and ensuring that diverse South African voices and stories reach wider audiences. Partnerships such as this strengthen our collective efforts to promote reading, research, and access to knowledge for all. Together, these frameworks remind us that books and archives are not luxurious. They are essential tools for empowerment, for education, and for social justice. We are encouraged by initiatives like this one, which ensures that knowledge is not only created but shared across generations. As Ruth First, one of our intellectual giants of resistance, a scholar, a brilliant journalist, a freedom fighter, a researcher, an educator, a wife and a mother, once said, knowledge is not neutral. It is shaped by the society in which it is produced. These words ring especially true today. Allow me to sincerely commend the authors, Professor Lindukuhle Ubisi, Dr. Salfina Ubisi, Seakwe Palatsi and Gilbert Motsatebe, as well as the publishers and everyone who contributed to bringing this work to life. Your commitment enriches our society and leaves a meaningful legacy, and for that we are grateful. Kopa re ba shapele matsogo. Ebile ka bua Setswana se se tlhapileng, kopa re ba opeleng diatla. To the readers, I encourage you to engage with these works thoughtfully. Let them challenge you, inspire you, and spark conversations that extend beyond these walls and into your communities. As I conclude, let us continue to support the literary arts and invest in our stories, invest in our languages, and most importantly, invest in our heritage. Let us also uphold the principles that ensure our knowledge is preserved for generations to come, because in preserving our stories, we are shaping our future. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare this book launch officially open. Thank you.
Ari shapeleng DM matsogo kana ari shapera ari opeleng DM matsogo diatla. Thank you very much. Ba re ba bagolo ba romwa ba eme ka maoto. So ka mo ke gopela a poet Bokamoso Nkunyane, come and give us a poet. DM le taba le eme ba
Dumela o buang ana ke moseka phofu wa gabo gang ke a shwa lentswe. I am the product of DSEC. My book was published last year. Ibida kopa marama ke pina pelo. I'm a multi-award winning author, novelist, activist. Gompone ke tlo dira poko about dreamers. Pare, there was 3 friends. Ene ele Maditoro, Libukamoso, Liditoro. When you remember that, it's about you. Kana wana Ditoro, khacha kolora. Me boteng bateng you never dreamed about me. Dreams are not just dreams. Dreams. Ditoro khasi ditoro fela. Ditoro tsa ga ma ditoro le ma ditoro. Dumela ntle ke batla go lu utlwa tle mogolo kwa netle ba tsona. Lanti ke le khopano wa mikapari na ka re togo ke batla kana togo ila ntsa. Listening to the pain ba re ke ga ditoro ga go. It doesn't matter where I come from. I want to dream about dreams about young people. I want them to dream. Hey, Minister, we appreciate you. We dedicate this to you. Without you, we can't be here. I'm a baby. I should have waited. I should have listened to I should have waited. I was a boy who believe in writing, but how can I write when this nation can't read about me? How can I write? Bare poko kyabung kadila tlhaboteng gateng ga ke kwala lutwa di ke ditsaka ke mo ke tla kwala ke batla le ntshetse ma Afrika ena ke poko e teng gateng ke ma poko. When a young boy started to write about dreams, not just the dreams, but the dreams came to me, told me that I was there in darkness, you never dream about me. Dreams are not just dreams are deep. I want to write about our stories. I want to decolonize how we write as Africans, but deep down, can you listen to my voice and how I write and how I speak, how I conceptualize the idea of writing? I'm a bill, I should have waited. Now, ke moseka phofu ga bo ga nke swa lentswe ke gopona mikapari a ke tsena le bomang go ke tswang teng khakala go ke ntse go gaufi. Where I come from, young people are dreaming, but some of them are drinking alcohol because of they never drink, they never have opportunities. Because now I have opportunity to talk. I'm here in front of you. I'm next to a minister, deputy minister. You don't listen to me. It's not everyone to be next to a minister. I appreciate you. Kana wena o khosigadi go teng ba teng wa hala.
A re opeleng bokamoso diatla. Thank you, Bukamuso, for that beautiful poem. And then, Kirile Baba Hulu Reba Roma Baimage. So, Basa Yeme, Kitlobitsa Advocate Make, to hand over something to the DM.
Oh, okay. Let me say something. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go parliament and declare again. So, and declaration list I think it's a matter. So, I can accept the gift. So, I'll give this to Bukamuso.
Ari Chapeleng DM Matso Hape Arwopeng de Ata remote province Yabukoni Buperima. Thank you very much, DM, for the opening remarks and warm welcome to this book launch. You have reminded us that books and archives are not just accessories. They are a very important tool that strengthen our literacy as a country. And I like what the DM says. She's moving along with me. Remember the issue of the cards? She says these books should not follow the traditional route of libraries. They must exchange hands. So as we procure the books tonight, let us make sure that we procure for others and then we exchange these books with others. Thank you very much, DM. The next item, we'll have Setting the Scene by Ms. H. Peterson, a commissioning editor, manager of UNISA Press. Let's give her a round of applause as she's coming to the front.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here with you tonight. Program Director, Honorable Deputy Minister, what an honor to see history in the making. Because of course our four authors, these are our heroes of the day. Because as we are part of National Archives Week, I feel these authors they have entered into history making. Each one of them have acted very bravely to tackle extremely difficult themes. And it is an honor for UNISA Press in the year that we are celebrating our 70th anniversary. What a highlight for us. Most unusual. We are so blessed and fortunate to have four authors in the house. Members of the audience, do you realize if you buy a book tonight, your esteemed authors can actually sign a copy after which the value of the book also increases. Do you realize that? So I'm not going to say too much about each individual author. The program is quite full, and I think the purest form is from the mouth of each author. I'm inviting each author to come and introduce themselves, and we have a specific program order, but the words from UNISA Press is to say, this is really a special occasion. One of these authors, Dr. Salpina Ubisi, even won a Hiding Curry Award for academic excellence. She published her book before the other Ubisi. You never know, he might be next in line. And of course, it's wonderful that we also have on the stage with us the DSAC Publishing Hub. The interesting little secret I can let you in on is I'm actually also on the Anfasa board. So it's lovely to know that, you know, as a member of the Anfasa board, we work closely with the DSAC to create these beautiful books from the Publishing Hub. So our last two authors are just as valuable, where they enter into extremely topical and tricky themes to handle. These books are not easy to write. I invite you to go to the table, open those books, and see the treasures left there. The sub-theme for this week's National Archives is Future Archives. Do you realize the material being written now is history in the making? So, and especially I'm asking each author, when you start speaking, say something about yourself, but the aspect of bravery is in the themes tackled. You unearthed very tricky, difficult themes. You were very brave to step forward. Some people are not willing to talk about certain topics. This is exactly why we have to honor our history and to write those difficult topics, to open it up for discussion. So congratulations to you. I will close off my sketching opening words, and members of the audience, I am going to take my place as part of this audience, and I feel extremely fortunate to have these talented people in the house. Congratulations once again, and please get your copy, get your signed copy, or you'll regret it forever. Thank you so much.
Okay. What's it wanna say? Mara, tonight, kita tsamaya ki swear. Miss Peterson, thank you. She is saying to us, this is history in the making. And also confirming that this between UNISA Press, the department, and the authors themselves. Thank you very much for that. So we'll move along with our programs. We've got 4 authors with us. I will call the first author. I'll start by giving you a short bio of each of the authors before they come in front. The first one is a book of a presentation by Professor Kushe Ubisi. I'm going through the bio. So the author's biography read like this. The title of the book is The Psychosexual with Visual Impairment in South Africa by Professor Lindo Kushe Ubisi, who is an associate professor in the Department of Psychology at the University of South Africa. His research, her research. So his research focuses on the psychology of sexual minorities, including the sexuality of children, LGBTQ+ individuals, and persons with disabilities, His work contributes to understanding that inclusion, identity, and lived experiences within the diverse communities. Professor Lindokutle, you can come forward. The arm meteling matoho, arm mushat opening the atla.
I don't speak Isitswana, my apologies. Thank you so much to the invite from the department and for the opportunity to actually speak about the contribution to research, to knowledge, and to our South African knowledge. So myself as a gay man, so I'm a very proud black gay man. I'm from Itembisa in Gauteng. I grew up with the concept of what is love and who can be loved in society. And as you know that as you become a child, you realize that you have a conception of others, and when you are part of a minority, there's a little bit of contention there, and a little bit of my work then drew me to understand the aspect of gender and sexuality and how we all understand gender and sexuality. And I was privileged then to find myself in a project where we were looking at visual impairment. I never knew I'm not visually impaired. I do not have any type of disability myself, but this was an opportunity for me to marry sexuality and visual impairment. So one of the questions I ask in the book is, we live in a world where sexuality is something we see every day. Somebody tells you to wear a condom. Most of us are fortunate to be graphic with the penis. We've seen a penis. We've been exposed to pornography in our lives. So we have an aspect is, but what sexuality look like for someone who's visually impaired? If I would ask you all to say that, for example, what is a gay person? Or any aspect of sexuality. Because us here have sight. We can clearly, the memories are there. But for someone who's visually impaired, they do not see the things that we see. So for a teacher, some of us are teachers here, how do you even for someone who's never seen what a penis looks like? How would you even start? So the book looks at those aspects, and I start with a very life impaired. We've got 12 schools across the country for learners visually impaired, and I wanted to understand sexuality from early childhood. So when a child who is visually impaired now, right? So what the teachers told me is that when the child is, because also there is a need for them to also be stimulated. So when a child is sitting in a classroom and is not stimulated, the hand also goes bodies through touch, right? So we need to also appropriate behaviors. That's what the phase was looking at. What is sexuality in early childhood? And of course, these learners, they grow. They become urges, they have sexual urges. Puberty kicks in. They want to explore what is conception of gender, of why am I a boy, what is a girl? Because imagine, as I said, these learners do not understand the concept of gender and sexuality. So we have to now introduce certain was a boy we spoke to understand what is sex, but he thought that the vagina, for example, and my apologies for being explicit, but he thought the vagina was low. Also have inaccurate information of anatomy and where sexual concepts or components are in the body. And as I said, then the book takes on what is to feel where is the breast, where is this? So I like your voice, and then they also don't see race. Also, that was a very interesting aspect. Want to touch each other and explore. But then now you can't just be touching people. That's a concept that we need to also introduce, that sexuality is a healthy thing. We all are sexual beings. We all experience sexual desire. We all experience sexual pleasure, right? But then we need to then think about what does that look like for someone who can't see. And then the book then goes into adulthood and beyond. As to now, they have to now form relationships. Some of them start to develop intimate relationship and sexual relationships with each other, with people who. One of the biggest issues was the amount of violence that they spoke about. So one lady, for example, told me that she lost her sight. Her husband shot her in the face. One of the ladies as well told me that she was having a fight with her, and the boyfriend took a bottle and went for the face. Sometimes people lose their sight through HIV. You know, so it's a lot of other issues as well which come into play. But people with disabilities in general are generally thought of them as sexual. Some of the comments I heard was, you know, where do you know where the hole is? You know, or who did this to you? You know, when they show up in the clinics as well, because that's also another issue. So now they have to access sexual and reproductive health in hospitals. Then the nurses who are sometimes uninformed. You know, they would really like, what are you doing? Why would you even have a baby? You're already a burden to your family. Why would you even have a child? You know, and in our African community, we know that disability is associated with a curse. You know, some of these learners are locked up, you know, into the households. They're not given the rights that we all enjoy so freely, you know. So it's very important to also shape or to change our perceptions of people with disabilities, because we tend to strip them off of any sexual characteristics. Maybe sometimes we don't want to see them as sexual beings, and that's very problematic. So the book is about that awareness and bring some of these stories that people with disabilities in general have sexual needs. They are sexual beings. They are engaging in sexual relationships, whether we sometimes might not want to see it that way. And the important aspect is then for them to also narrate their own experiences. So the book also is now available in Braille. I'm trying to speak to the Department of Basic Education to also bring it in schools, because we've got a comprehensive sexuality education curriculum within the subject of life orientation. But sometimes we strip disability off. I mean, even when you look at any magazine you pick up sometimes, your GQ, your Cosmopolitan, all these very sports magazines, and, you know, we never see anybody with a disability in there. So it starts with us as people acknowledging and seeing those gaps in our thinking, seeing those gaps in our conversations, and the importance of culture and how culture also shapes our perceptions of certain people. Because if we strip you off of your sexuality, what happens? We don't cater for you in terms of sexuality education. We don't see you as someone who can be pregnant or should be pregnant, you know. One of the aspects as well that I explore is the history of sexuality and disability, or the intersection thereof. Because in earlier years, people with disabilities used to be involuntarily sterilized. So their parents would take them to hospitals and just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this, because there's a fear that disability is transmitted through genetics. But it's just 2% of the population. But anyways, I think I've said a mouthful. I don't know if there's any more, but thank you so much for listening, and please buy the book and read.
Arwopeng diatla. I am getting better. Wow, this is inclusivity at its best, because this book is about also people with disabilities, and we hear the author saying that the book is also available in Braille. So we appreciate you for taking that step also to ensure that the book is read by also people who are blind. We thank you for that powerful reflection on your book. Now we'll turn to our next author, So at the end of the session, we will have all the questions. You can just note them down. We will allow for an opportunity for you to interact with our authors here. So the next book, Buloimoni, How Research on Hostels, Housing, and Intergovernmental Relations Took Me to My Roots, by Dr. Salfina Ubisi. Dr. Salfina Ubisi holds a Doctor of Administration in Public Administration from UNISA. She has worked across several government departments and academic institutions, including UNISA, University of Limpopo, University of Northwest. A round of applause as we welcome her to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. All protocols observed. I'm already introduced. I'm Salfina Buloimoni Obisi. I work for Northwest University Mafikeng campus and the Faculty of Humanities and the Department of Public Administration and Local Government. I've got so many slides, but due to time, I'm not going to go through all of them. So the title of the book starts with my original name, Buloimoni. Originally, I'm from Bushbuckridge in Mpumalanga province, but I'm living in Gauteng. So in my language, translated into English, means, what craft is this? So Salfina is my slave name, as my grandmother said, and is captured in the book that colonists forced them to give us a bit of English names so that they can be able to call us, because to call me Buloimoni, it will be very difficult for the colonists. So, so the title is produced by my two studies, master's, the title of the book, my master's and my doctoral studies. My master's topic was on hostel redevelopment program. I evaluated the effectiveness of this program under Mogale City local municipality. This is my municipality in Kagiso, Krugersdorp, West Rand. It has been my dream to conduct a research study in my home province. So for my doctoral study, I conducted it in Bushbuckridge local municipality in Mpumalanga. So the doctoral study focuses more on cooperative government and intergovernmental relations using housing as a service within the three government space. So the book, I think it's launched for the second time today. Yeah, it was launched in Pretoria last year, 31 January. Yes. And then this is the book that won the Harding Curry Award, as Ms. Peterson already announced. It was selected as the best book for 2024. I was the only winner in 2024, selected by UNISA. While writing this book, I realized that I don't know my roots. I don't know my roots. Yes. Hence, there is my roots. The studies took me to my roots. Yes. So now I'm busy with 2 books. The first one, as byproduct of this book that is being launched today. The first one is titled, My Roots. Who am I? I don't know. I'm searching. My roots. The second title, Know the Shangaan Kings. I'm Shangaan. And oral literature. I realized that although we undermine traditional leaders, they have got valuable information about our history as Black people. There are a lot of challenges that I'm going to touch on as we go. And I realized that as academics, we are busy with decolonization of the curriculum. How are we going to do that without the traditional leaders who know our cultures, who know our languages? In most instances, majority of us, most especially us who are living in Gauteng, we no longer speak our mother tongues fluently. I don't think I can write a book in Tsonga since Shangaan was not used during our school days. We're subjected to Tsonga because it's regarded as a dialect of Tsonga. Hence, even in the constitution, you cannot see Shangaan is Tsonga. But practically, I'm not speaking Tsonga. I learned Tsonga at school. And I'm not fluent. I cannot write in Tsonga. So it's another challenge that I'm foreseeing with the decolonization of the curriculum, that it might cause some conflicts. Because some people will say, my language is regarded as a dialect of another language that is recognized in the Constitution. So where do I fit in? I'm not taught in my own mother tongue. Even now, if I'm in class, I speak maybe Tswana. Other students will complain, Dr. Obis in class is speaking Tswana. I'm not Tswana, I'm Zulu, I'm Xhosa, I don't hear. So it's a challenge that is going to need some thinking now as we are building history, as announced by the Deputy Minister. So I will start with the journey of this book. I started by selling old clothes. If you can Google me, type Salfina Obis on Google, you'll see me sitting there with my old clothes business, trying to fund my education due to financial constraints. So I registered for my National Diploma in Public Management in 1997. So in short, that business produced Dr. Obisi, who's standing here. So all the hardships that I experienced are well captured in the book. I don't like reading my own book. I normally cry because it's a reflection of what I went through as a person, as a woman. But I'm grateful for that. So the title for my master's study was triggered by the stories told my late uncle, Mr. Mavetso Million Mukavele, of the inhuman conditions while living in mine hostels in Randfontein and Welkom. I realized when I was collecting data that compared to my uncle's living conditions and the Kagiso hostel dwellers, my uncle's conditions were better. Then it was 2012. When I revisited the hostel again in 2021, I didn't get an entry because the indunas were in KZN. So you know hostels, there are rules. You cannot just walk around without a permission. However, when on the field, I realized that 2 programs were implemented. The hostel redevelopment program and the community residential units program. For the hostel redevelopment program, the living conditions of the hostel dwellers were improved. However, it was so painful for me because in one room, you'll find 2 families sometimes, demarcating the space with curtains, like in shacks. Same applies to those hostel dwellers who were living in cargo containers, because family units were being built under the community residential program. Still, 2 families in one cargo container. It was appalling. I used to go to the cargo containers to interview the sample participants in the morning or late in the evening, because you cannot bear the smell of paraffin combined with the heat. It was hot. Okay. Under the hostel redevelopment program, the units were meant for hostel dwellers to pay monthly rentals, but they refused. And when I visited, they already occupied the built and incomplete units. They refused to pay any cent, saying that why do they have to pay monthly rentals while those who are given the so-called RDP houses are not paying a cent. So illegal occupation of houses, I think it's a challenge to the Department of Human Settlement. And it's also a challenge to beneficiaries who are on the waiting list. Another challenge, I'm left with 2 minutes, so I will go to the challenges. Another challenge, this one, I think it's on political level, where the relationship between ward councillors and traditional leaders is very sour. And this is an obstacle to development or implementation of projects. The members of the council, Amashangani Tribal Authority, said to me, what councillors do not communicate with us. They just come with their own people in our areas without proper communication. Hence, you'll find people blocking implementation of programs or projects. Another challenge, illegal selling of subsidized houses by ward councillors, in other instances to foreign nationals. This is another challenge that needs political intervention, because at the end of the day, beneficiaries on waiting lists are being denied their constitutional rights. So, okay, I'll stop here. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to Mpumalanga, Bushbuck Ridge. Here I am Beleni Mavoko. Thank you for that reflection on your book. It also reminds us of the sessions that we had that traditional authorities or leaders know our cultures and we need to utilize them to register our history through oral history programs. Thank you for that reflection. Now we're moving along to the next author. Here my Setswana will be tested. The title of the book is Meno Masweu. Meno Masweu. By Mr. Siahwe S. Palatse. The author is an educator and an emerging Setswana author. He began his teaching career in 1991. And he held various teaching and leadership roles in schools across the Northwest Province. He is currently an educator at Eletsa Secondary School. He has authored several Setswana works, including Tubana Mante Mekwane. In 2009, Kiring in Najwanung, 2020, Nonyana Mipupu Tomebe Mibi, published by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture in collaboration with the Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association. Received recognition in the South African Literacy Awards under Youth Literacy. Let us
thank you, our program director. I was given blue light to express myself with my language. Our honorable minister. To give each and everyone to understand what I will be. Ke a leboga motlotlegi ke a leboga tona ya rona ba tsileng mo thankgololong the launch of the books in Setswana we say is thankgololo ya thankgololong ya gompieno pele ke ya kgakala ke batla go tlotla tona ya lefapha thata o ntiretse letsatsi gompi ke ena motho a ntlha o ntiretseng letsatsi ka go baakanya so se gantsi ke se baakanyang thata gore re tsaya seatla le letsogo re se dira se se leng o be batho ba re opang matsogo phaphathang matsogo ene letsogo ke lolotlhe a ba re motho a re ba tshwarane ka matsogo e go tshwarane diatla e rile ga tona ntate ke re o ka re o kilang kutlwa ga ntse ke ra batho ke ba ra ke re diatla re dira ka diatla ke a leboga tona right a ke tlogele go ratharatha jaaka motho a ntshiwa leino la motlhagare ke tswelle pele ka se ke se bileditsweng fano ke mokwadi jaaka ke setse ke tsetswe gotlhe motsamaisa tiro wa motsatse re gotlhe gane a nkitsisi fano when she was introducing me then he talked everything I was going to say right in short ke mokwadi le nna jaaka ke biditswe fano ke kwala thata ka Setswana ke kwala ka Setswana ibile ga go puo engwe gape ke dirisang go kwala I don't even think on the language even now my book this book Meno Masweu eke kwadileng they have given me a challenge of translating it into English they said this is a good book, then e ka buisang ke batho ba bantsi. Therefore, I must take this book into English. That is a challenge. I'm still looking for someone who can take it and translate it for me to English. Right. Menoma Seu, it is the 4th book. Yeah, the book that is why ke ne ke bua ke re ke kwala thata ka Setswana wa utlwa gore le di title tsa dibuka tse ke di kwadileng di bua thata segolo se tonna ka diane. My first book was a novel, ke di novel ka boraro ba tsona Thupana Mantemekwane. Thupana Mantemekwane is a Tamalakwane e re Thupana Mantemekwane ka go khatla wa se ke wa ikhetla, meaning that a brother cannot marry his sister. A brother cannot marry his sister. Then we have Nonyane Emi Puputo maybe I Pataka di Puka Zayona, Horomotoka Hale Aratang who itira over Hali go feta silicon. Kobu Filo Mufikele Horigena Aitensenge Mama Tating. Then we have Kirin Najano. What can I say? Kirin Najano. Something say why but now I'm going to talk in terms of menoma sweu polaya etshega menoma sweu pla etshega, which means that usually in most cases a friend can kill you with you. He can kill you while but this is an anthology of short stories. In this book, there are 7 short stories. You know, most of the books I've written, I don't even know you. You are a stranger to me. They think I'm looking at your life and therefore I sit down and write. Of which is not like that. I just sit down from the mind, something came in, just write. And you find out that because usually when you are writing a book, you must make sure the main thing when you are writing a book is to teach, to guide, and to make some people to know things. Some of the things that but they are still there. Like for instance, most of the themes in the books composed of serial killing, GBV, the coronavirus, as well as the drug abuse. The short stories. But the first short story, but they came to me and asked me, do you have a problem with principals, school principals? I said, no, I don't have a problem with the principal. Why are you writing such a story about a principal? Because in this story, the principal is a serial. He was a principal of the school. He was killing the learners of the school, particularly girls. He was killing the girls. Abulaya Banabasana and Lily Mistress. Mistress but then the problem, the brother was a policeman. Then the brother was a policeman, and the brother was investigating those cases of the serial killer. He was looking for that serial killer. Now and then he will come to the brother, to the principal, and tell him that I am here, I am here, I am here, I'm looking for that, I'm looking. Then the brother will know that, oh, he's going there, then I'm going to kill that one. When the brother is going there, and then he'll come and say, re kreile ngwana o mong gape, and o ka re kwa sekolo sa gago. Ha re itse gore motho o ke mang, re batlana le ena. Then the policeman, hantse a bolelela the principal, o ira gore principal o a ye kgakala, a ska ba a feletsa motshwere. But ka ntlha gore re a itse gore Tshipu o rile ke lobelo, motlhaba ena a re ke namile. Then automatically the principal o ne a feletsa e le gore o tshwere, but ha na mo tshwara, ha ke gopola sentle, ha na mo tshwara o mo tshwere e le gore o tlhokafetse a mo tshwara diakabo ya tlhokafetse, because o ne a kreya accident ha yaanong a utlwa gore ba atametse go mo tshwara, o ka re yaanong ba ya ko ena, e le ha utlwa gore ba atametse mo tshwara, then o na a driver a le mo speeding se se kalo-kalo, and I am meeting with the principal. Then he got an accident, then a tlhokafala gona fao. Ha ba tla mo koloing ba tlo mo tsa ba graduates nna di dirisa di le mo koloing, then ba re motho ke ena our serial killer, because ha ntse re batlisisa some of these things di ne di ntse di le teng mo that thing. Then they ke gona mo ba mo tshwere mo teng, but he was already gone. And o ya yana asa bolaya le bana ba sekolo fela, a bolaile le mosadi wa nakagwe wa lepodisa, le ena a fitile ka ena. Then the other story se leng gore batho ba se ratile le bona ba ne ba mpotsa ka sona ke this story of this little teenagers, three girls by neng ile the teenager, they were using drugs. They were not using drugs, but they were abusing them. Ba ne ba tshakgogile, ba tshakgotse ke diritibatsi botlhoko. Yaanong this ladies ba ne ba tlhaga from different families, 3 different families. The other one family ya gage e ne le ba humile thata. Then ba mo fa tšhelete, then ha tsamaya le ditsala tsa gagwe tse o di rekela whatever se ba se batlang kore ena e le a banker ka dinako tsotlhe. And the other one ba ne ba itshuletse sentle, and the other one a phela le mmage fela a sena rragwe, only to find out that the father to the one who a fiwang tšhelete ntsi yana is the father to this one, and they were friends. But they don't know gore ke bana ba motho. This one o botsa mmagwe now and then ke batla papa ke mang, mmagwe ga a batle go mmolella, a ntse a itse gore papa gagwe ga a kgakala, is around the village, and papa gagwe ke papa ge tsala ya gagwe. Then ba ne ba dirisa di drugs thata, ba feletse le gore ba lwala ba go bookelong ka ntlha di drugs eo. That was meno masweu playa e tshega. Then apart from that go kwala ba gaitsho go bonolo, de ke ra batho ke ba ra kere e ska re ga o kwala wa re o kwalla tšhelete, kwalla go ruta batho, kwalla gore batho ba itse dilo tse ba sa di itseng, kwalla go guide batho. Because most of us ka nako tse ding re simolola ha re kwala re nagana gore ha re kwala o ira tšhelete o tla kry-a tšhelete o tla irang. A re kwaleng ka di le tira le gona tiragalo ya gompieno mongwe ka nna a kwala ira buka ka yona, then ga nna something beautiful. Moradisi ke a leboga, o nkinele diatla metsing go go tseela nako, ke a leboga.
Re mo nthagololong wa dibuka. Thagololo. Someone whispered to me saying that the author is not a mister, but a professor. My apologies for that. Professor Siagwe S. Palatsi. We are waiting for the English translation of Meno Masweu, so that we can also understand and follow. Thank you very much for the reflection. We are moving along. The next speaker is the author of Dark Leaves, Professor Gilbert Mutsathebe. who is a full professor and a deputy dean for teaching and learning at Northwest University. He has extensive experience in academia and media practice, having taught at institutions including the University of Johannesburg, the United Arab Emirates University, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, universities in Nagasaki, Japan. He has also served as a fellow in the Center for Study of Culture and Society in Bangalore, India. Prior to academia, he worked in broadcasting at Bob TV, SABC, and ETV as a news producer and output editor. And he later served as deputy director in the office of the Premier in the Northwest Province. Let's welcome him on stage.
Dumelang ba gaetsho tla le nna ke tse tshunwe ke go leboge motlatsa tona ka go nna gone le rona phirimaneng e. Thank you very much for also setting or rather providing a comprehensible context for this event and also setting the tone for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, a book is never an effort of a single individual, and as such, I would like to thank the publisher, my publisher, Ivira Publishing, for believing in this book, and the support of AMFASA, which stands for the Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association of South Africa, as you were told earlier, of which I am a long-standing member. So thank you so much. But of course, not forgetting UNISA Press, who were the first to publish one of my novels, my first Setswana novels, my first Setswana novel, which has since become a prescribed text in Botswana. And I was told that it was the first full-length detective novel in Setswana. So I'm very grateful to you. I will be chatting to you, Ms. Peters, about the royalties. But I also want to acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, the Department of Arts and Culture, DISEC, for their immense and continuous support. In fact, it was through the support of DISEC that this particular novel premiered in Venezuela at the 2025 International Book Fair at Plaza de la Jonvitas in Caracas. That was long before what we have seen transpiring in Venezuela. But we are thankful to you, Deputy Minister, and the department, and we are also thankful to the local Department of Culture. And I'm not going to forget colleagues from the National Archives as well as the Provincial Archives. Thank you very, very much. And of course, thank you so much. Where is he? Peter out there, over there, Peter Mashwan. Thank you so much. He's the gentleman from DISEC. You know, we are thankful for your support. So onto Dark Leaves, which is a fast-paced detective novel come thriller with multi-layered, interwoven, intricate plot that unfolds on multiple levels simultaneously. Ka gongwe ka Setswana, motlatsa tona re ka re ke ploto e itugileng se melemete jaaka noga ipolaya mala. It's interwoven. So in terms of the impetus for this book, there's no particular impetus per se, but as you have heard, I essentially believe that life is a passage through time and space, and as such, it has to be lived in diversity. That's why in my career life, I've taken conscious decision to live and work in at least 5 different countries. I was very amazed. I mean, it was amazing to see how some of the cultures in these countries relate very much to my own culture, Setswana. There were lots of similarities, even in countries as far as Japan, for example. So that was very, very exciting for me to see some of those things. And of course, as the late Professor Leshoy said, that novels are not necessarily meant to teach moral lesson, but there's a lot of incidental learning that happen when you read a good story. So some of my my experience, find its way on the work, for example, that I produce. So this novel is a story about the pragmatic world that we live in, family set in our time and place, based on the gripping tale of a teenage boy who strikes out alone in the world as he tries to find his way in life. After a near fatal experience, the story's protagonist, Botsilo, makes the difficult decision to flee his home village. The story follows this young man and inexperienced Botsilo on a journey of self-discovery. From his home village of Dinokana in South Africa across the border in Zimbabwe, is about to regret. So this bespeaks to an acute moment of anguish and displacement. He takes a job at a local supermarket where he befriends a long-distance who eventually convinces him to accompany him to Katima Mulilo, a Namibian border and Zambia. There, to survive, and as his circumstances lead to inevitable moments of anguish. He meets Mulenga, mastermind involved in a gun smuggling syndicate that supplies illegal arms to rebels and criminals in war-torn countries. Mulenga recruits Botsilo to work in the business of illegal gun smuggling and to during this time, Botsilo is corrupted to the core and became involved in criminal activities with international crime syndicates. Police culpabilities, but in the interest of time, operating at gunpoint from the but needless explores themes of dislocation, migration across the continent, the impulsiveness of youth, and law enforcement agencies. At the same time, it is a repository of traditional rituals such as rainmaking, as well as the sacred. If the book had not been written long before, one would have been Langa Commission, but the book was written. Yeah, but talking about the sacredness of culture and some of our I find very exciting, particular because when you are writing novels, it's different from more like research-based, which is more evidence-based, are based on research and knowledge, because of things that don't exist. Yeah. So I find it very exist because sometimes I just go and walk across the Lutlamore village, for example, and I was very fortunate to have witnessed rain-making rituals where there was just request during the time of famine. Seen at least 2 drastic droughts in South Africa where we had to eat, what did they call it? They say yellow milli. The Khosi would then summon this Ntsila to the tribal crawl, and then at the tribal request for young water, and then we will come and just pray for the water. But within few minutes to gather. So that was something that was very, very exciting to see that the rain will then start falling. So that was quite exciting. I just want to say that the book indeed, or stories exemplify what I've with that quote from Prof. Leshoyi, who was also a professor. That novels of knowledge, culture, and traditional, but novels also have many feet. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. There are some few copies available outside, but the book is any exclusive bookstore, also bargain books. Speak to the bookseller, any bookseller across the country, they will be able to get the book for you. Yeah, any book. Thank you so much.
Ari mo opeleng diatla. Thank you very much for the reflection, our professor, Motsa. Ladies and gentlemen, are those banking cards ready? Yes. Thank you. So we have had 4 reflections from our remarkable authors. Now we are going to have the audience engagement session, where we'll open the floor for questions and dialogue. You will raise your hand, and then we'll note you, and we'll be bringing a mic to you so that you can raise your question. And maybe just indicate the person, the author that you are directing the question to, so that they can be in a position to respond to your question better. Ladies and gentlemen, by a show of hands, let's raise our questions, comments, clarity-seeking questions, inputs. We have got 10 minutes, and I don't see your hands up. You are eating from your time. Ladies and gentlemen, then if there's no hand, I'll start pointing. I will request for 1 person per table to say something. Okay, it's fine. Let's start with this hand while you are preparing yourselves for the questions. If there are no hands, I'll be moving table by table. So please organize yourselves. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Ke lebogile gape bagolo. Jaaka ke tlhalositse gore ke nna bokamoso. Ke lebogile the authors and deputy minister and other delegates. My question is that I want to ask Kalona di for authors Baba Limona, how do you motivate young ones in order to read in indigenous languages? Because re lemogile re kwala dipuo ka Setswana ka other indigenous languages, but our children, especially from high school, ga bana kgatlhego, they don't have interest in reading in our own languages. So what is the point of writing in our own languages, but we don't have people who can read our books? And also another question, how do you help young people in order to wait how when you are writing, this time of brain block? How do you deal with brain block as authors? Because most of us, I think we are going through that thing. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other hand? Should I come table by table? Have you organized yourselves? Okay. Let's allow the authors. Okay. I see a hand, two hands at the back. Ntatema Halifa, and the table behind you, there's also a hand. Let's take those two hands.
Memoradis. I'm good. Nek batlo butaka di price usiame, and then ya psychosocial. The outcome yeah that research abafeletse bana ba tlhaloganya ba kgona go by the way you said were they able to understand and know and perhaps even explain to others their sexual orientation and stuff and be able to identify different parts or differences between the two genders? Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Good evening. I'm inspired by the authors. I am Mutokwa by birth. Now, nobody writes in my language. When you go to the north of the country, they will tell you Mutokwa is Mupedi, which is not. I'm just making an example. When you go to Botswana, they call him a Motswana. It's not. When you go to Free State and Lesotho, they call him a Mosotho. He's not. We've got a distinct language as Batokwa, and we're not the only ones in the north. I want to know from the authors, especially those who write in Setswana, that different dialects of Setswana, very interesting. When you go to Rustenburg, they say Fale. When you come to Mafikembara, Hale. Now, you'd be forgiven to think that Setswana is the only language that is spoken. But people speak different dialects. And I'm sure they would appreciate to read those kind of languages. By the way, and I'm not a rebel, by the way, we only have 11, 12 official languages, but our languages are more than that. If you go down to it and decolonize, as was mentioned, you'll realize that we've got very exciting languages. I don't know if you know Silubedu or Kilubedu. It's a very distinct and exciting language. We are robbing ourselves of not writing and reading about it. So are you going to explore, especially the madam who spoke about Shangaan and Tsonga? I happen to know that they're different, they're not the same thing. They've got some roots in Mozambique. I know there are some in Limpopo. The languages are not the same, the people are related, but they're not the same. Are you going to explore that? We need that education. I'm impressed. I met a lady here with me when we you know, that is very good because how you know who you are. I don't know myself. I don't know, but once you simula then I can tell you how bakwena bazwa kae. Haba le ko Lesotho, but no, rona re Basotho. Wa bona? Haba le ka mo Botswana ba re ke Botswana. What I'm trying to say ke gore, are you going to explore writing in other languages that are not deemed to be official? So that you reach those people whose language is going to be distinct very soon, if they are not at all now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There is a hand there, and then this table. 1, 2, 3. Okay, who's one? So I've got 3 people from this table. Okay, 4 people from this table. Okay, let me start there.
Ke a leboga motsamaisa tiro ke tsene tshonwe ke acknowledge presence ya Deputy Minister and all the distinguished guests. Na potso ya ka e ke lebisitse go mokwadi wa Menomaso upolaetse ga gore a hana appetite ya go approach the production houses so that these short stories they convert into television, because most of the time re shebella ba ileng Mazulu ba tla intshwarela re shebella ditori tsa Mazulu thata mo 161 ene ha rena ditori tse di enough tsa Setswana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then there's that hand over there.
Dumelang. Le nna potso ka e lebane le mongodi wa Menomasweu. Since I'm a young writer who's aspiring to be a big writer someday, and buka ya hound that day, it's really one of those books where I had ideas, mara ha ka khona di executor, because I can't put myself positioning the characters. Ne? I can have the idea, but has a tlameha ho ikenya so ba thata, especially let's say maybe stories, right? How tlameha ho ngola about the serial killer, ke fumana like ho ba thata hore ke ikenye maotong tsa hae. So ne ke kopa hore mohlomong ka ntlhalosetsa hore o khona jwang ho ipeya hantle hore ha o ngola ka character tse jwalo hore di se ke tsa tjhentjha like maikutlo a hao ka tseng empa o kgone ho qetella that specific idea. Ke ngole ka ho bolaya motho because ke feel like le nna sentse kelelo tse sa lokang, mara ke batla o ukisa hore o kgona jwang hantle hore e se ke be ya o affecta wena o le motho tje ho hang.
Thank you. Let me take number 1 of this table.
This book launch is happening in the middle of the annual Archives Awareness Week. So my interest from the authors, how much of archival collections did they consult, and where are those collections? That's because part of Archives Week is to bring awareness about the existence of archival repositories, and for people to know that archival repositories are available for research purposes, amongst others. Thanks.
Thank you. Number 2.
I just want to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Minister and all the dignitaries present. We Nimangotlo from Limpopo province. The mandate is taken. Okay, on a serious note, I just want to appreciate the authors for the work that you are doing, and I was touched by I just forgot the name. when he said he's not writing to make money. It means writing is passion for him. So, because now these days we have a problem of our authors who are writing material and come back and expect government to give them money. So as libraries, I work for libraries and also manage archives. We have that kind of a challenge to say we've got local authors who are expecting you to buy their books almost every day. Once they publish, they want you to buy. And my challenge is one, sometimes the quality of the book, it's not on point. But I just want to acknowledge to say the authors that are launched today, I managed to check some of your material. It's of good quality. It's something that we can put in our libraries for people to come and read. And what I want to check with you is, I think Kabelo took one of what I wanted to say some of the material that you are writing, if you can change them into short films, so that we can, those who do not like reading and can also get that information through short films. And another thing is, as the authors, you are writing books, you expect people to read those books. We are libraries. All over the provinces, there are libraries. Are you members of those libraries? Are you reading some of the material in those libraries? Are you willing to come to the library and do a volunteer to do a program to mentor those who are aspiring to be authors like you? We need people like you to come to our libraries and give back to the communities. There are young people who are aspiring to be writers, but they don't have the skill. So I just want to check to all the authors if you are willing to do something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Let me write on the protocol that was observed, but honor the presence of the Deputy Minister. We appreciate you being here. And the authors, because you're the ones who brought us here. My name is Maitewa Mangani from Northwest Provincial Archives. Professor Ubisi, hey, you were too deep. But I want to check with you because with what you were presenting, it indicates that you went too deep into your research. But what I want to check with you is when a child is born, they either orientated as a boy or a girl, right? Until to a certain age. I want to check with you to say, psychologically, when does one confirm that my sexual orientation is this? To say this is truly who I am, and this is the narrative or the reality that I'm going to run with, to say this is my sexual orientation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I acknowledge DM as well and colleagues. To the authors, to the writers, I'm also in library services. Kiska ipata, kerona re tshwantseng re tlo nka dibuka tse into the community libraries for di fitlhele ba bang. People are encouraged to buy books as individual, but ba ba sa kgoneng go afford to buy those books as library services, our responsibility for the book di fitlhele the community. I just wanted to acknowledge all the presentations. It's always intriguing how Mamiti, the authors themselves, represented the book, and I'm sure we are now eagerly wanting to read those books. Sesimoni, I'm also going to be reading your book. It's very intriguing. The life here, the hostels and things like that, but you said we are also going to be experiencing who you were in those books if we read them. So yes, we are basically intrigued in that day Palate. Yes. We are also excited about your books. Unfortunately, I just wanted to ask my colleagues how many books, because you have a number of books. So Rita check and confirm how many of your books have we bought as a provincial library service here Northwest, because the books are how obviously the relevant for the audience here, Rona Kwano. Same applies to Prof. Yeah, Mr. Tewe. I'm definitely sure that we do have your books in the library. Yeah, no, Ralebucha, and yeah, we, as library service, we can just confirm that we are going to be considering your books in our community libraries, and yourself, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you for all the beautiful questions, comments. So we'll give to our authors without following a particular order. And in 3 minutes, you can touch on the issues that were raised that are directly affecting you. And there are those general questions that were raised. Please also do touch on them. We will follow the order that we followed during the presentation. Prof. Lindokuhla Obisi. Yes, yes, please. So that we can see.
Okay, I think maybe the first question that was raised about how do we encourage learners to read, especially in their own language. I think the best start is to have conversations with children. Talk to them about concepts you are now, your sexual orientation is bisexual or with children. Children sometimes have the capacity to, and if they don't, you can re-explain that, you know, you have a penis or from a man and a woman, and this is what differs within the LGBT. To answer your question, my sister, is that as much as gender as well, because our sexual attraction differs also as we develop as well. There's a lot of bisexual men, for example, who are coming up. I think we've seen it in social media. To who they want to be themselves. Their gender expression is different. There's men who now wear dresses. It has nothing to do, for example, but it's a gender expression of how you express yourself. So yeah, I think also sometimes I grew up in the townships. I really try to involve myself. I think a beautiful thing to allow people to speak different languages, even in this room, to allow also to come into the fore. So I think that's a very important thing. But yeah, the 3 minutes.
Okay, I might not cover everything. Okay, with me it's I don't even know my roots. My kids, because they went to school where they were mingling with Tsonga learners to speak Shangaan. Sometimes when I speak Shangaan, and me. And with Tsonga again, when people to write books in Shangaan by many Shangaan speaking people. Salfina, now you are an author. When are you going to write books in Shangaan? We don't have books in Shangaan because we're absorbed in Tsonga. Even my Tsonga is not pure. So how do I write books in Tsonga? Tsonga is not my mother tongue that I'm speaking. It's regarded as a dialect. Hence I said, with dialect languages, we are going to have problems, most especially when we decolonize the curriculum. It's a challenge. We are debating amongst ourselves as academics. How are we going to approach this giant? Like now, he was presenting in Tsonga, in Tswana, in Setswana. I was not hearing what he was exactly saying Do you understand? Because it's deep Tswana. I'm around this area. My Tswana is not pure. Do you understand what I mean? Hence I said I don't know my roots because I was raised by a single mom. I didn't know Mr. Ubisi. This is the person who should have taught me my roots. But I don't know even my culture. Is there? And if I sit and analyze, which means I'm more on the Mukabele's culture, not the Ubisi's culture. Because I was raised by a single parent. So it's a societal problem, this one, fathers, because you hit and run. At the end of the day, you left us without knowing our cultures. And it's so difficult for me now because when I start searching, many people who should be in the good position to tell me who I am are gone. So it's a challenge. And you get flashing information from family members. And truly speaking, I didn't pay attention on importance of culture, importance of my roots, until I started writing this book. This book is a convention of my thesis. I won the thesis award in 2020, and one of the requirements was to convert the thesis into a book, hence this book. It's a research book, it's more on research. But because I adopted the so-called autoethnographic writing style, which is a qualitative method, hence my culture is captured, my roots is captured in the book, my hardship captured in the book, me being a woman, me being poverty-stricken, not having money to study, me being a woman, having to raise kids. My ex-husband was more on politics. He was a political ANC activist somewhere, somehow, and he lost his job because apartheid government didn't want such people. So I was left with kids to raise. And the very same kids, when we speak Shangaan language, sometimes we don't understand each other. So it's a challenge. How do I encourage young ones to write in Shangaan while we don't have books in Shangaan? Who's going to edit the book in Shangaan? It's like starting from the bottom. And it's getting there, it's a problem for me. It's a big challenge. Okay. I think I've covered making a film. I think my story can be a good one. Although I'm not an actor, but the person who represents me as a character can act very better. And truly speaking, it can sell. All right. Giving back to communities. When I left government, the primary objective was to give back to communities. Hence, I went to the University of Limpopo because I used to sell old clothes at a shop called the Kabungeni. We used to go to Cape Town for old clothes, exchange with the so-called blown pots in gas. It's a bartering system of some sort during those days of colonists. So, in my mind, I was giving back to community. And another wish was to go to University of Cape Town to give back, but now I think I'm old for traveling, and I feel like my kids never had their mom because I'm a hustler. I've never been there, even now I'm here. So in chapter 2, I have captured the immigrant labor system of apartheid. So I have got information there about me being an immigrant. I'm not home most of the time. Although we are saying apartheid, hey, family members or families were not having nuclear setup. I'm in democratic era, but still I'm not living with my kids. So I covered some of the impact of migration system in the book. I think I've answered.
Thank you very much. We'll move to, hey, there is that confusion again. Maybe let me ask, is it Mr. or Prof? Is it Mr.? Okay, all right. Mr. Siahwe Palatse, it's your turn.
Thank you, Madam Program Director. Let me just rush on them. Right. Professor Chibi has gone through this one of a film. To change the book into a film, there must be someone who must take it and write in a version of a film. They cannot be taken as it is. It must be written. But how can the film? But they must talk the film and all those things. But there are books. They became film. Like Mopeme is a book. It was derived from the book, but they take it and write it in a version of a film, so that it is possible that they can take the stories from this book and make it a film, right? Ideas about a character. I think this my brother here. He said his ideas fade when coming on to a characterization. Right. Usually, when I writing, usually some of the people I encourage them to write. I said the first thing I tell them, I said an author, the writer of the book, is a god to his characters. You do whatever you want ka character ya gago. Like modimo re phedisa ke modimo. Modimo a batla gore o hume wa go humisa, ha batla gore o nne modidi wa go dira, ha batla go tsaya wa go tsaya. Then as a writer, you are a god to each and every character in your book. You can make him rich, you can make it poor, you can kill him, and you can do anything. And the other thing, the one that makes me character, I usually used to give my character the names, right? That just the I'm using those names. I know that I'm going to make this character to Hodibona. Then it must be like that. So is that so that you said then you take it as an actor. Look at the actors in the television. Wow, but he's acting, he's not dying. Wow, but he's going to act the death, right? So when you write, just put it as an action, don't put yourself in that. Take it as an actor that this one is acting, then then you'll come there. Encouraging Bana. They talk of Setswana. Now we have a challenge. The first challenge, the challenge we are having is that Bopalaze, they are taking their children to Model C schools. The medium instruction is English or Afrikaans. Then Hangwana Atwa School Muntu Palaze is talking English with Mwana. But then how is he going to read the Setswana book? The first thing that I'm encouraging, let us talk Setswana with him and let us give them Setswana books to read now and then. And the other one, the authors, are you reading? The authors, are you reading the books? You cannot be you can't be. because I myself, I was encouraged by Bokwadi ba Re DPS Monyaise, Re Emalope. I usually read books. Even if I see a new Setswana book, I take it, I read it. As long as it's easy, then I keep on reading. Then because of the fact that Umokwadi, there's no way o simolotse pele ka go buisa dibuka tse ding before tlo simolla go kwala ya gago o buise gore o feletse e le gore o buise ya then ya bofelo e ke yang go ya raba ke ya go kwala ka diteme tse sentsa semmuso right ke rata ke batho ba re let us not say phalatse because o mokwadi re kwa puo eo ya gago ka Setswana o tlise go phalatse gore phalatse ke kwadile ka Setswana checka gore a e ka nna yona you know that language write it o skware o batla somebody o ileng gore a ka kwala ka language yaka wena wa utlwa gore o batla go dirisa language ya gore o kwale ka yona write it then how you isa go batho batla Department of Sports, Art and Culture. This department is there to help whatever the language may be. And then they will take it in board. Thank you.
Probably I can just join this conversation. So I'll just join the conversation on the issue of encouraging our own or our children to write in their own languages. I think Refa I stress reading is very important because language and culture operate simultaneously. So when you encourage children to read, but even at home to speak their own languages, that goes a long way because the more they become immersed in other cultures, the more they look down on their own culture. They see it as backward, they shun it. So it's very important that as parents, we encourage our children, at least at home, in the home, to speak their language. And I think research who can confirm that, who deal with Setswana from our directorate of Setswana Mo University there, that children, perform much better if they develop their own innate language pathways first, that is learning their language first, then it's even much more easier to learn other languages without interferences from other languages. So I think that is where I come in. And of course, on the issue of, we have in Setswana, of course, like in any other language, standard orthography, where these are mafoko but it does not mean that other words or other dialects yeah, so because it's also about diversity and at the same time inclusivity. So of course debate, interrogate issues such as that. So in a nutshell, also what I want to stress, because as parents, what we do most of the time, we prioritize this thing of giving our children or exposing them to too much screen time, which is very, very problematic because even in terms of their own cognitive development, it affects, it leads to lots of anxiety, attention span get affected, and also it also affected that faculty of creativity. So Banababa, it's actually because audiovisual content is very structured. Actually, if you how is a video, like for example, we show us slowly, you can just see that it's framed after frame. So it programmed the child to think that way. That's why even they cannot be able to multitask like what we do. Those of us, we had very little exposure to screen.
Thank you very much for all the responses. But let me request our audience, if you feel did not touch the questions that you raised, they will still be here after the formal sessions. You can engage with them directly. There was the question about the prices for the books. So we have got 2 of our books that are published by UNISA Press. The first one is the Psychosexual Experiences, which is 350 rand. And then we have the second one, Buloimuni, it's 250 rand. And then the other 2, they are published by DSEC Publishing. Dark Leaves is 250, Menoma Sweu is 350, but Menoma Sweu is also available online. For details, you can see the tallest man in the house. He will give you information. The tallest man in the house, can you stand up? There is the tallest man in the house. So you will consult him for details. Okay, he stood up without knowing what is he standing up for. Okay, no, thank you very much. We're moving along with our program. The next item is the closing remarks on behalf of our host MEC Tlhapi, and that will be provided by Mayor Tumelo Napakade, the Chief Director, Sports and Recreation in the Northwest Province.
Ke a leboga Program Director, Acting Chief Director, Sports and Rec. A ke tse nako e ka ke simolole ka go dumedisa our DM, our presenters, UNISA Press, Lilona, our beautiful guests, my colleagues from DSEC, as well as ACSR, Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation DM. So most of the time, I short in. Let me start by thanking the DM for gracing this prestigious occasion and with your warm welcoming remarks. We are really honored as the department and as the Northwest Province to launch this book, or to the book launch. And also thank the presenters. I know it is very interesting seeing your book come to life. It's a dream. I know it was not easy because it is important to understand what the readers are looking for when browsing your books. And remember, it offers a great publicity, opportunities with local press, bookshops, and your local community. And further develop an emotional connection with readers. Honali so so tenke khogedi DM rona ne rata gate ke dintshontsho tsa lerato gona le khogedi ka fo o wa gogelega, whether it's a short story or it's a novel, but go tshwantse go nne le se se go gogela mo bukeng. So some it might be their favorite genres because o gogelwa ke sengwe ka fo gare. So ke ntse ke utlwa ba bangwe ba bua gore king se se irang gore buka ya gago e pale. The most critical thing is your cover in the khogedi. And I believe this story spark conversation and inspiration. Let me also thank UNISA Press, to thank you all for your support. You were a good audience. It shows that it shows the love that you have for these books, or for the book. And truly making this launch an unforgettable and a memorable event. To my colleagues from DSEC, ACSR, Library and Archives, our media communication unit, we really thank you. Program Director Kaitsur Hasranzu Lebogiwa, for directing the program. You were awesome. Now, translation, the organizers for organizing this. Ms. Simpe, the Director Library and Archives, and your team. I know Hore is Archives Week starting from next week, Utaboli all over. Klerksdorp, Poch, to Moretele. Please, Oskwale Bala, DMR, Otlabale, Moretele, Kodi Trupe. Oskwale Bala. So I want to thank you all and good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, May Napakade. And I'm taking your advice, or it's more translation. Thank you very much for those remarks. As a program director, I have got the powers to change things around. Ne? We started with the vote of thanks. Now we're taking the book unveiling ceremony. Let me invite the Deputy Minister to the front and Ms. H. Peterson, the commissioning editor and manager for UNISA Press, to come forward and do the book unveiling ceremony. And Ntombi, please bring the awards.
Who's gonna call? Who's gonna call? Oh, me. Okay. According to the program, that means I'm gonna start with this one. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ntombi Kaise. I'll be calling psychosexual. You're the first man. The order of. Yeah, that's number 2. Volo Imoni. Dark leaves. Oh, that's one. Ba re ke meno masweu. All right.
All the authors come forward for a picture with the DM. All of you. All right, thank you very much. The next item is announcement. They will be provided by Ntombi.
Okay, may I have your attention, all of you? Announcement ke ya dijo. This way ke batla attention tle. Gore ke batla dilo di tsamae sentle. Hey. All right. Go tsamaiwa yana ne? Go tlotswa this first table. Lotswa so. Yo, nyakile bla lo tse khone. Ro tswa so. And then ro tsena ko menyakong o batla bula gona no. And then ge ba thoma go boa ba tsena, then go latela this table. Same order. After it's going to be the second, the third one, fourth, fela yalo akere. So nete ge ba thoma ba tsena, then fela byalo gore go ska ba le thadela. Ke leboga kere.
Thank you for the announcement. So the books are available at the back, and then a book signing and networking and entertainment, it will happen. The authors will be waiting for you at the back with your cards. I'm facing that table. With your cards. Let's buy the books. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude, today's launch has reminded us that books are more than just words on paper. They are vessels of memory, identity, and transformation. On behalf of UNISA Press, on behalf of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, the Provincial Department, I want to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. The session is adjourned. Let's network, let's engage the authors. Thank you very much.